Alright, what is up guys? Kiefer with Trias here. And today, even though this is extremely delayed, not delayed, we weren't really planning to do this, but it's been a long time since Breaking Bad has been over. But we are doing a review of Breaking Bad. And I would like to take this moment to say that we're probably going to start doing some more movie reviews and TV show reviews. Now that I got my, I should say this though. Probably going to do it by season rather than episodes, just because then the channel would get a bit too cluttered. And the channel, when it comes down to it, is a short film channel, and we want to stick to that. However, movie reviews and all that, always a fun thing to do. So, this is my buddy Noah. Hi. You guys have seen him before, and I think episode 3 of Talks Trias. If you guys haven't seen Talks Trias,
I made a very important cameo.
He did. He really did. But yeah, so if you guys haven't seen Talks Trias, there's a playlist as well as a playlist for pretty much everything we have on the channel. All the short films we make and everything like that. So, without any further ado, we're just gonna jump right into this. So, thoughts on Breaking Bad? Go ahead. Because this is the guy that's seen it. I watched the last 2 episodes with him, but
I just recently finished it about, 3 days ago. So I think we should go probably season by season, right?
Sure, I'm down for that.
I'm going to start with season 1. Now, I haven't watched it probably in about, I don't even know, probably about 3 or 4 months now. But, I still remember it. It's hard to kind of forget. When season 1 and season 5, if you were to show them to someone, Breaking Bad, if you were to show them season 1 and season 5 and not anything in between, I legitimately think they think it were 2 different shows.
Oh, because
it is so insanely different, and getting along with that journey, through the rest of the seasons is truly incredible. Season 1, I'm not gonna lie, when I first started it, even at episode 3, I was kind of like, okay, where is, the actual exciting stuff that I was kind of promised in the show? It does take a while to actually hook you.
It is a slow build, but it's worth it in the end. And I don't mean to jump to that, but I'm just saying, it is. Anyone will tell you it's worth it in the end. It is.
And it has an unusually slow pace. If you try to watch other TV shows and stuff like that, they won't spend 5 to 8 minutes on a scene. They might spend 3 if it's a bit generous. But Breaking Bad has that just ability to be able to do that. And at first for viewers who really just can't commit to it, it is incredibly difficult to be able to kind of sit through the first couple of episodes because of that fact that you'll be sitting through scenes where the dialogue doesn't seem important now, but as the show goes on, it will reveal that basically it's you have to work for it, kind of. Breaking Bad, if you want the satisfaction that it can bring you, you do have to work for it. There's episodes created intentionally that are just pure dialogue, pure storytelling. There really isn't any action or twists or big upsets and stuff like that because of the fact that a story this complex and this deep really needs those interconnecting plot lines to be filled by something. So season 1 is a lot of just setup. It's setting up all the problems that Walter will have in the future. And it's just, in this season, he is still an innocent person. You can totally see in everything that he does. He doesn't want to kill anyone. He only wants to make this amount of money. And oh boy, does that change eventually.
Even when he does have to kill in season 1. Oh, by the way, spoiler review, sorry.
At least you mentioned it now.
Right. Even when he does kill someone in season 1, you can tell he's just he's not a fan of it. However, a beautiful scene, and in season 5, in the finale, you finally get to hear Walt say the words, "I did it for me," rather than lying to himself and to everyone around him that he did it for the family.
I personally think in season 1, he actually is doing it for the family. Maybe a bit of season 2, but it just evolves into where he really is just doing it for himself. And this is stretching way to the 5th season here, but it kind of turns out that the real motivation is kind of coming from the fact that that whole gray matter company situation, where he actually took out his share of the Gray Matter Corporation, which is what is it? It's a science institute.
I'm not gonna lie, the only episodes I really watched with this guy, No, I've seen the whole series, but it was a long time ago.
Oh, okay. So you're just. doing
So
it.
I'm not quite sure. I don't.
So I think it's some kind of science institution of some sort that Walter and these two people, Gretchen and Elliot, I believe, they all created together.
Disgusting. I hate those people. I really do. They're not
So-
even like bad people necessarily, but you just see them and you're just like, why? Like,
Rich snobby type, but
yeah.
so one of the main driving plots of Breaking Bad, or like maybe one of his motives, you'll find out again, huge spoiler here, is that Walter actually left all his stock out of the Gray Matter Corporation in order, I think, to spend more time with his family. Like, so he didn't start up the business, and he took about like $5,000 with him. That's it. Fast forward about 2 years, and the company is averaging something like $20 million a year or something like that. Basically, the two people who were left are just making ridiculous amounts of money. And Walter, because of his poor decision, is actually now stuck as a way over, what is it called? Like he knows too much to be like the high school chemistry teacher.
Overqualified.
Yeah, overqualified chemistry teacher, which, would make anyone angry because, they feel unaccomplished, they feel cheated. And so that's revealed around season 5 to be one of his biggest motives. And, you don't really see that.
I feel like he feels kind of like cheated because but he also sees an opportunity because even in season 5, a lot of it is selfish motives, but there is still it's not like he just doesn't care about his family. You see his eyes light up, you see his face fill with anger, but you see his eyes light up oh my gosh, I know what to do now when he sees them on the news. And one more thing I'd like to say really quick. I guess two more things is when you can really see it's all an addiction to him. He's addicted to the adrenaline. He's addicted to the as much as he says he wants to get out, it's not really a business that you can get out of, and he's smart enough to know that. So sorry for that quick cut there, but
Technical difficulties.
Right, you can tell there that there is this addiction, and it's not really a company. It's not really a business type that you can just get out of. Once you're in, you're in. You'll make friends, you'll make enemies, and really no in between. And the thing is, except for the people that respect you and fear you. But the thing is, I think that his addiction really started, and he hated himself for liking it so much, is when he went to Tuco's, right? Mm-hmm. And he dropped that thing that wasn't actually meth, and it blew up the place. And he gets in his car, and he starts hitting his steering wheel. And then there's that other part too where he's in the bathroom and he starts punching that thing, showing that he's mad that he doesn't have that excuse anymore.
His cancer is going away.
Right.
So he wants that excuse, yeah.
And one more thing I comment on, and then I'll let you go, is in terms of what am I thinking of here? In terms of it being a slow show though, and a lot of the stuff being what some people would call a bottle episode or filler or something like that. The truth is though, if you really look deep into it, everything, at least something in the episode has a meaning. Something that happens in season 1, in the middle of season 1, has relevance in the last episode of season 5. Everything does.
They even have a flashback from episode 1 in the last episode of the show.
And not to mention, the season finale
wraps up everything perfectly. You're not going to think it's going to be able to do that in 45 minutes because they're on the second last episode.
Well, it was extended. It was an hour.
Well, yeah.
But
an hour long. But in the second last episode, I was like, no, there can't be just one more episode left. There's way too much stuff that they need to cover. And they still
makes you stressed out.
Yeah, it really stresses me out so much. But they were still able to cover everything. They close every single plot hole they have and more. And not only that, they still have time for those really long Breaking Bad scenes where it's 8 minutes of just talking and silence and stuff like that, and all the awkwardness you can get.
This show is masterfully awkward. But the cool part is, this is how you know it's good. It's supposed to be that way. And the other thing too is, my only negative with this show, and I don't mean to just jump to negatives, I swear to God, I'm just going to say right now, just from my viewing experience alone, okay, I binge watched the entire thing on Netflix. So I had no commercials, I had no breaks, unless I had to do it myself, sort of thing. So my viewing experience, I give this an A plus, 10 out of 10. It's one of the best shows you can ever see. Like literally ever. It's one of the best forms of entertainment you will ever get in your lifetime. However, if I was watching this on TV, I would have a huge problem with it because there's nothing wrong with a cliffhanger by the definition of a cliffhanger. But if you do, for example, what The Walking Dead did. Now, if you guys don't know The Walking Dead, pretty much in the last season there was a character that was killed and they didn't show it. They you know that someone died, but while they were killing that person in first person, they cut it. And then you had to wait an entire year to see what happens. Now, it's not that I'm being a petty fan and being like, wow, God, I just want to see what happens. I can respect any art form regardless of my own opinion on it. However, my problem with stuff like that is that it cuts the tension. So, in the middle of that gunfight in episode 13 of season 5, when Hank and Gomez are about to die.
Spoilers.
Right, yeah. It really does bother me that in the middle of the gunfight, it cut to black. And then in the next episode, Gomez is dead. You didn't get to see it. The tension's all gone. You lose all the tension, and they didn't take any time to rebuild it back up. At least The Walking Dead did that. They took the time to be like, okay, here's the lead up to the kill. You know what I mean?
They literally, Gomez is actually probably one of my favorite characters. So I don't.
His death was stupid. It was actually really badly handled. Like I'll be honest.
I didn't like it at all. And honestly, I don't really get sad about a lot of characters like that. I don't usually get emotional about any kind of character. Now I didn't cry or anything, but I really liked Gomez the entire time of Breaking Bad, and to see his death just be so poorly handled. He literally didn't even get a last line. His last line was probably something like, hey, get behind the truck, or whatever they were saying during the firefight. So, it was basically as if he was a side character. Like, a character that did not matter at all.
Yeah, even small... That stutter was insane. Even smaller characters get bigger deaths in Breaking Bad. And it's I don't know. I just feel like he deserved more. And overall, that action scene, while the tension was great leading up to it, I feel like the execution was a little bad. Because not only did it logically make zero sense whatsoever, because they cut it to try to trick you. Now movies and shows do this a lot. Where they will find themselves in a corner, and I know this because I've had to do this in Survivors before, where they'll find themselves in a corner, and they'll be like, oh wow, we screwed this up. How are we going to fix this? Oh, well, we can film it this way, do a lot of close-ups, do a lot of quick cuts, shaky cams, so they don't really know what's going on. There wasn't a lot of shaky cam, but there were so many quick cuts, and I'm sorry, but Gomez and Hank are not, in cover. They're not in, behind cover or anything. And these people have a bunch of guns dead at them. And they all start shooting at once. But somehow Hank and Steve make it to the side. That doesn't make any sense. And it's I just can't let that go. Especially when Breaking Bad tries to be so realistic.
Yeah.
If it was Walking Dead, for example, or Daredevil or something like that, where it's not that realistic, I don't care. I don't care at all. But Breaking Bad, it tries to be so realistic that it's dude, you gotta do better than that. You know?
He also threw something at the ground and made it explode, like what you were talking about. When he threw whatever that was at the ground, and it just completely exploded.
Right.
Now, that can probably happen, but the explosion probably wouldn't be any bigger than just
Yeah. And
so they kind of they exaggerate stuff, but even now it's just kind of stupid.
Especially, okay. I think my only two problems with Breaking Bad is, of course, the cliffhangers, breaking the tension and just not being handled well. And number two is, I don't really feel like they properly know how to balance comic versus reality. What I mean by that is the entire show will be so realistic. The politics of everything, the business of everything, the way people talk, the conversations are ice cold Tarantino style, realistic and just enthralling to listen to, and so entertaining. However, though, then they'll just have the most out of left field comic moment where it just doesn't make any sense. As much as I love Gus Fring walking out and straightening his thing, just looking at that from a third-person perspective and not being my own personal opinion, like not being biased about it, that bothers me. Like,
So
why,
spoiler
it's
warning,
unrealistic.
Gus Fring dies in an
This
explosion.
damn thing's a spoiler. Yeah. Go ahead though.
But,
I'm gonna
uh,
check the camera and make sure it's still running. But go ahead.
So basically what Kiefer was talking about is in the end of the 4th season, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Hector Salamanca, the man in a wheelchair with a little
Awesome
dingy thing,
character.
amazing character, probably my favorite. Or Gus Fring, one of the two.
Both of them are
Both of
amazing characters.
So, basically Gus Fring gets blown up by a bomb, and it's a massive explosion. And you're just talking about Breaking Bad being realistic. Gus Fring literally walks out of the infirmary, and his entire side of his body is just literally just meat and bones. Like he's
right.
blown up.
Oh, and it's
he-
CG.
Yeah,
And you can tell.
And
You can tell it's CG.
He fixes his tie and just like falls over like that. I mean, it was cool, don't get me wrong. It was one of my favorite scenes probably. But, it's just not realistic at all.
And I'll tell you what too. Even though it was CG, and that does bother me, and like
It looks good,
it's
though.
CG. It does look good, and the detail they put into that, because it's not like Breaking Bad uses CG like ever. So it's one of those things where it's like, okay, we're gonna take this time to make this CG right. And my God, they did, because they put in so much detail. Even I don't even know if you know this.
The eyes move.
His eyes move. His like eye socket where his eye should be is moving. And like one more thing, speaking of Gus, there's 3 like main bad guys. There's Jack, Tuco, and like Jack the neo-Nazi from season 5.
I was gonna say, who's Jack?
And his like crew, Gus and Tuco. And I'll be honest, personally, I just wasn't a huge fan of Tuco, but that's just my own opinion. He was well handled in the show. Same with Gus, I loved him, and then Jack, I loved him too. And they were all very different. And you understood their motives, you understood why they did what they did. They were just great bad guys, and they were well handled.
It was a cool evolution though, because I think Tuco was only in season 1, right?
Yeah.
He was dead by the end of season 1. He was a good introductory villain because he was kind of on the stupider side. His operation wasn't super big, and he was just a wacko. Like he was an actual like meth user, and it was just a great introduction because of the fact that it wasn't too serious. Like season 1 is probably the least serious of all the seasons.
Season 1 has a lot of comedy, and all the seasons get darker and darker as
yeah.
it goes on. Appropriately, though.
Yeah.
Appropriately.
And then probably around like the end of season 2 to the end of season 4 is Gus Fring, and he is like the stone cold, all business. He's like the super nice guy on the outside, but also just a monster on the inside kind of villain.
He's
And
a
I-
main antagonist.
Yeah,
Like,
the
he's
main
the guy.
bad guy is Gus Fring, and I absolutely loved him. Nobody could have done a better job than him. And I especially liked his interactions, like the Spanish mafia, or who did he deal with? Like those people.
I think it was a cartel.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the cartel.
It was a cartel. Yeah.
He had dealings with the cartel, and it was just weird to see him because you'll see this man in commanding positions where he has authority over everyone, and then he goes to the cartel and they treat him like dirt, and it's just interesting to see that. And it was still a little bit lighthearted, like he was a serious business guy, and he does something with a box cutter that I don't want to spoil for you guys, but it kind of
We spoiled everything else. Go ahead.
So basically,
Box cutter.
out of nowhere, there's this episode called Box Cutter, and up until this point, Gus Fring has been extremely business oriented. He's been very serious, and he's just been almost like it would be almost like talking to your actual boss. Like there's just almost no difference. Just basically your work is meth instead of you're working for like a paper company, and he just
He
seems like
takes it
such
so seriously. Yeah.
yeah, he's like so legitimate about everything. And then there's this incredibly tense moment where I think Walter messes up or something like that. He's like yelling at Gus. Gus comes down, and it's this super long scene of at least like 5 minutes or 8 minutes or so, where Gus is literally just walking down slowly,
So cool.
getting like a suit on. And this whole time, Walter is just going off on one of his little rants that he does sometimes, trying to manipulate him and make him feel bad. And then Gus just kind of sits there, and I was like, wait, is someone about to die right now? Like I think Gail was there, and then Jesse, Walter.
No. Gale is the reason they were there because he got killed.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I don't even remember the character's name, but I know who you're thinking of. It's his little. It's his little
He's
shit,
a little henchman guy.
Little shit henchman.
And so I was like, wait a second, nobody's gonna die here. What's
a
going
little
on?
Mexican dude.
Yeah. So Gus Fring has his little Mexican helper, and he stands right next to the guy. And this is out of nowhere. Like, there hasn't been bloodshed besides Gale, and that wasn't even that bad. Like, it wasn't like bloody or anything. But there hasn't been bloodshed or anything super tense for a really long time. And out of nowhere, Gus Fring, I think, stabs him in like the
He
stomach.
cuts him in the neck.
Cuts him in the neck and just guts him like a fish. And it's one of the most like horrific, bloodiest scenes you'll ever see in Breaking Bad. And it's just out of nowhere, and it's literally just to freak you out, and it's supposed to freak Walter and Jesse out.
The reason it's so well done is because, look, you can tell the difference between like actual just stupid graphic violence for no reason and there being meaning behind it. And you can tell that through many different ways, but the ways you can tell, oh, there's a lot of meaning behind this, is because the fact that they have Gus holding the guy there and like making him hold still. And this guy adores Gus. He loves Gus. He'll do anything for Gus. And Gus just kills him like he's nothing because he knows this guy isn't useful to me. And that's the sort of guy Gus is. He's emotionless, and that may seem kind of boring, but he's very layered. And you can tell he's layered because he thinks of everything. How can this benefit me? How will this benefit me in the long run with the business? How is this going to help me? And Walt, surprisingly, it even surprised Walt. You can see it on his face. Walt thinks he's going to die. But Walt got to him. And he's like, yeah, no, you do need me. So he kills that guy, and he's staring Walt right in the eye, pretty much telling him without saying a single word, look, bud, I need you, and you're right about that. I do need you. But I'm staring you down as I'm slicing this guy's throat open and the blood's going all over you. So you know that if you do this to me, or someone is better than you, you will have the same fate. And that's why he doesn't see any other option besides killing Gus in the end.
We should also talk about Jesse. Jesse is probably one of the greatest characters of all time. So,
talk about Jesse really quick.
Okay, so Jesse in season 1 starts off as an annoying little grunt that Walter kind of hires to... Jesse reluctantly goes with Walter to try and make meth with him. It's a weird teacher-bad student relationship. When Walter first meets Jesse, he's a druggie. And, he's doing it up with all his friends. He's just a very bad kid. And it's a really awkward relationship at first. They have a ton of struggles with each other, and they have some arguments that are they're frustrating to watch. Because you want both of them to say certain things and just make up, but they just both are super stubborn. Walter especially. My problem with Walter, now he's an amazing character, and this is just a personal bias against it, but he would say things where I'm just like, oh my god, end the argument, stop being so stubborn, lose your ego. But that's the whole point of Walter. He literally cannot let go of his ego. And so Jesse and Walter, when they first start off, their relationship is it's almost annoying, but it's just so awkward sometimes and so tense. So eventually, they start making meth together. They start actually making a little bit of money. Walter's like, hey, this isn't enough. No matter how much they start making, Walter just keeps saying it's not enough. Jesse just kind of has enough of it. And through season 2 and season 3, before they both start working for Fring, Jesse is like on and off. He's like, I'm leaving. I'm never doing this scam. And he comes back, and then Walter keeps coming back to him and trying to get him. And eventually, Walter develops like a father-son relationship for Jesse, where, he will protect Jesse with his life, and Jesse will protect him with his life. Now, there's also this little underlying tone of Walter is smarter than Jesse by a mile, and he knows that. So he'll also try to... Yeah, a couple miles. And he also, while being like that father figure, that really nice father figure, he's also manipulating Jesse to pretty much do whatever he wants. Another spoiler alert here. Walter actually sends Jesse to kill Gale, and even though you can see so well in Jesse's eyes, through the actor doing a fantastic job, Jesse wants nothing to do with Gale. And he doesn't. The last thing he wants to do is kill Gale. And you can see that in his face, but because of the fact that just because Walter said so, he's going to do it. That's kind of like what the relationship goes into.
It's also because the characters themselves, it's not just like the viewers see, oh yeah, it's a father-son relationship. They see it. They know that. Even the scenes where Jesse's crying and Walt, he stops being an asshole, and he hugs him, and he embraces him. It's a really beautiful, very layered relationship.
And then
It's like an onion
kind
and
of
an
takes.
ogre. It's got layers. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh my god! But then it kind of takes a dip towards the end of season 4 because of this fact that they just kind of start having odds and ends with each other. And what happens? I think doesn't Walter try to like kind of Jesse thinks that Walter poisoned his kid.
He did.
Like did this not Jesse's kid, but like this kid that his girlfriend has. So Walter poisons.
That's what I calls it. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
Walter poisons the kid. Jesse, obviously does not like that at all. So they kind of go their separate 1 out of 10 sort of thing.
Right. So, sorry again for the cut, but I did just want to kind of leave off my point, and then I'll let you go for like a few more minutes or so. I want to leave off my point by pretty much saying that beautifulest thing about Walter White is that 2 things I want to say. He would not have stopped. He never would have, because he was too addicted and too selfish. He was constantly riding this line of selfishness and selflessness, which is funny because it's complete polar opposites. But he's like, yeah, I need to do this for the family. But even though that's how it started off, and that's how it was for a long time, that became an excuse. Because he just...
Also, the cancer became an excuse.
The cancer, everything became an excuse. And like, even like...
It was kind of like, hey, I'm out of it now, but if any little minor inconvenience came up that he could solve by going back in, he'd do it.
Right, and not only that, but I feel like the beautifulest thing about it is that he needed to lose everything to not only win,
but to regain what he, like, to try and do what he did, like, what he was...
Well, yeah, that's what I mean by win, but to be humble.
Yeah.
To finally be like, yes, I did it for me. Yes, I'm going to do this for the family. I'm going to make sure that they do everything. I'm going to right all my wrongs. I'm going to screw over everyone that screwed me over, and I'm going to kill every last one of Jack's men.
And he accomplished...
I'm sorry, just saying that just makes me so happy. It tied up everything.
Yeah, he accomplishes... As sad as the final ending will be, and it will be incredibly sad, not only because of the fact that you've finished probably the best TV show of all time, but just... He has nothing. But he's also accomplished everything he wanted to accomplish in the first place. He won. But you still feel terrible for him because, like, he literally just has nothing in life. And he just kind of dies alone. Sorry, spoiler again.
Well, he does, he also, I'll put a spoiler warning on the title, but he does die with a smile on his face, though. It's the darkest happy ending you could ever have.
Yeah.
It's a happy ending, but it's like...
it even has a little, like, happy tune to it.
Right.
It's kind of funny.
It's like happy, but like sad at the same time. But also, to wrap up what we were saying about Jesse, I did want to quickly say something that I've seen a million Breaking Bad reviews on YouTube, and none of them have ever covered this. At least the ones that I've seen. I've seen a lot. In the final episode of Breaking Bad, you get to see what Jesse's wanted to do with his life. And they beautifully transition that into his current situation when he turns around and tries to walk away.
So they have
and
like
chain yanks.
So they have like that little. They have a little cute scene of it's all filtered and it just looks.
You can tell it's like fake.
It's
you
not
can tell
real.
It's like a dream.
And it shows Jesse literally just being a carpenter. He's building a little chess box, and he looks like he's the happiest person on earth when he's making it. I think it transitions so beautiful because he holds up this box and
it's a punch to the gut.
Yeah, it turns around and you just hear his metal chain click, and then it glows back to reality, and he's literally being chained to a wall, and can only move like a little mouse around a trap, and he's just making meth constantly, over and over and over again. So to really, really quick wrap up Jesse, in the 5th season, Walter basically just like completely throws him under the bus. They become mortal enemies. Jack captures Jesse. They throw him in a hole. They force him to make meth all the time.
He kills girlfriend and his girlfriend's kid.
Yeah. And, yeah, those are some of the darkest scenes you'll ever see. Because Jesse is a good person at the end of it. He just is. Like, he wanted out of the meth business completely. He just wants to, be with his girlfriend. Obviously, he just wants to be a carpenter. He wants a normal life. But because of all this stuff that Walter did to him, his life is just messed up forever. And you'll kind of see that in the very last scene, pretty much. Walter kind of kicks over a gun to Jesse, and he says, hey, you want to kill me? I know you want to do it. And Jesse's like, no, just say that you want to do it. And Jesse just kind of goes his own separate way. He drives away in a car, and he has like this little hysterical fit that he's so happy that he's just done with everything because he has nothing else to worry about because Walter solved every problem.
Right.
And so to completely sum this up, I'm going to give it a out of 10 sort of thing. I'd say a 9.8. The characters are fantastic.
Acting's good all
the
around.
Acting,
all around.
Any character you find, there's no bad acting in the series. I don't know how.
I forgot the dude's name, but the one black dude with the pinhead.
He gets some of the funniest lines you'll ever see. Even Ted, even that guy who I hated so much.
When he trips and falls and the food falls all over him. It's hilarious.
It's so good. But the acting is fantastic. Cinematography is great. The pacing, even though it's slow, it's necessary for the show, so I don't mind it at all. The twists are fantastic. The plot is probably the best you ever see. It's like Shawshank Redemption style, like level of just good plot but put into a TV show. And the only problem I have with it is now I would actually rate it a 10 out of 10 if you're gonna watch it on Netflix. But if you had to watch it, you had to wait for every single episode to come out, then it would be a 9. Then it'd be a 9.8 because there are literally some episodes like Fly. There's this one episode that's called The Fly, and
I'd be so mad.
It's
if I
just a
was watching
boring
that TV.
episode. It's honestly a boring episode, but they just put it in there because they needed it to be there. It's just a giant metaphor. The entire episode has Walter and Jesse just walking around following this fly.
And although boring, though, we need to admit it does have meaning.
Yeah, it does have meaning.
There's no.
But if I had to wait an entire week, and it's during season 4, right? Or season 3. So it's getting Breaking Bad is getting good. You want to see it every single week. So if I had to wait a whole week and then get an episode like that, I'd be very pissed off. But overall, 9.8 out of 10. Probably the best television show you'll ever watch, in my opinion. As of right now, as so far, best television show I've ever watched.
Yeah, I would say I've got to bring it down to a 9.5 for those cliffhangers. I'm sorry, man. If you're going to do a cliffhanger, I have nothing wrong with it. Cliffhangers are what keep you going. Actually, as a matter of fact, movies and TV shows that don't have cliffhangers and have complete finality every single episode, every single season.
Yeah, that's called
everything.
Only having 1 or 2 seasons.
And not to mention, it's boring. It gives you no interest to come back.
That doesn't work with drama shows. They just literally can't do that. Comedy shows can do that because they don't even follow a plot really.
Right.
And they're bingeable because they're funny. But drama shows, you have to have something to keep them coming back.
Right. And
that's the problem. The Blacklist actually had where every single episode there would be a problem and they would solve the problem. There would be a problem, they would solve the problem. Now there's cool twists and stuff like that.
And it keeps you wanting to watch. But like I said, the poor use of cliffhangers, bring it down to 9.5 on television, and also that 0.5 there also includes the not the right balancing between comic and reality. So 9.9 on Netflix though. Either way with the gripes and the complaints that we just said, it's an incredible show. It's an incredible piece of entertainment, and if you haven't seen it, then you screwed up by watching this video. But go ahead and go watch it. And you know
We're
what?
really sorry this is the first thing you've heard about Breaking Bad, but how?
Also watch Better Call Saul too, because
yes, that show needs more
it's good.
appreciation. I'm on episode 3 right now, and it's quite literally just more Breaking Bad, more of everything you love, except with probably one of my favorite characters from I think Saul is my favorite character. I know I keep switching out from Hector Salamanca to Jesse, but I think it's quite literally Saul because it's all of his ad-libbing and all of his just quick cut lines I just absolutely love, and it's just more of him. And the show is really underrated, probably because of the fact that fans of Breaking Bad didn't want to ruin any of the hype that they had around the show. If let's say Better Call Saul is bad, then that would just completely demean Breaking Bad.
Right. So just so you guys know, more movie reviews, more TV show reviews coming soon, but TV show reviews will pretty much be done season by season rather than episode by episode, just based on the fact that we want to stick to our core values as a channel. We are a short film channel. That is what we are. This is just icing on the top. of the cake. I struggle to say that really badly. But anyways, yeah, thank you guys very much for watching. Let us know what you guys think. Let us know what you thought of Breaking Bad. Or if you haven't seen Breaking Bad, then I hate you for watching this video. I really do. But go and watch it, okay? And subscribe. Subscribe for more. Click the like button below. And is there anything else you want to say?
Nope.
I've been coming for your lover.